I might be responsible for asking David to make a new album while the embers were still hot, and he said, "Oh, well, I'm not quite ready for that." And then he thought about it, and I remember we had a lovely dinner in downtown Soho in Manhattan, and he says, "Yeah, I am ready for it. But I don't," he says, "Alaire is a bit expensive, it's a bit far away. I don't see why we can't make it in New York City." I think we did the demos not in my house, of course. I was living in Manhattan. I did not have a studio in my house. But we did them in Looking Glass Studio, in my small studio that I rented from Philip Glass. And like by now, demos could easily become a master tape. If you start a demo, if you have a live drummer, or even if you have a drum machine, if everything's happening and you do a few vocals and you do a few guitars and you go, "These sound great. Why do we have to re-record it? These demos are sounding great. They just need polish." And yeah, we polished it.
Not the lonely sky. All the pages that have turned. All the errors left unlearned. Oh, but I'm the luckiest guy.
Then, after about 2 or 3 weeks of recording, we said, that drum sound, we just don't have it. That Alaire drum sound, which was huge. We didn't put screens in front of Matt Chamberlain's drums. We just put microphones in front of him, like all over the place. And we were picking up his drum ambience like on 10 microphones, So we were able to mix very, selectively with which mic sounded good. So we had nothing like that in a little vocal booth in New York. I had my own studio in Philip Glass's complex, but it was a very small room. And we had a real tiny booth, which was a vocal booth, and that's where we put the drummer in there, Sterling. And he had to like crawl under the cymbals and like get in there and get in the seat, and then to go out, it was the same ordeal. But we got some great drum takes, except David and I looked at each other and we said, "That's not the drum sound like that we love, like Alaire had." So I said, "Well, I have an idea. We could go up to Alaire, book it for a day, put all those Matt Chamberlain microphones up, and play Sterling's drums through the loudspeakers, and pick up the room ambience. We'll bring Alaire home with us." That was what I was saying, and it worked. I think David always tried to put one cover per album, at least one. But this one he did use Try Some, Buy Some, and he knew the Ronettes, he knew Ronnie Spector, and he thought this is an homage to her. And he even kind of sang like her on the record. And for me, he had this thing about, I don't want live instruments anymore, because MIDI was all the range, and he knew that you can do some great orchestral sounds on a keyboard. You could just tap the keys and out comes a trombone, out comes a trumpet, So he said, we have to do completely synthesized orchestra. And he thought there was a special charm in that. And we got a lot of criticism for that, because people could tell it wasn't a real orchestra. Although it was a good facsimile, it wasn't a real orchestra. But that was an experiment. It wasn't because he was cheap or anything. He thought that had a charm all of its own. A lot of people were doing that.
Don't ever say I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. I never said I'm better, I'm better, I'm better. Don't ever say I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. I never said I'm better, I'm better, I'm better, I'm better than you. On the corners of the buildings.
So Bring Me the Disco King started out as David sang to a drum track that Matt played on Heathen. That we used that. I forget which track it was, but we blatantly took the drum track, took all the instruments off, sent it to the song to David playing primitive piano on his Korg synthesizer, which he loved. He still loved that for the second album. And he sent the demo to Mike Garson in LA. So Mike Garson played to Matt Chamberlain's drums on his grand piano, of which he had a studio where he had this grand piano installed with about 12 microphones. So you could, they were underneath the piano, over the piano, behind his head, every reflections off the walls and all that. And he sent his files back to us. So this was the beginning of this new age of the business. You didn't actually have to go anywhere to make a record with somebody who lived in another country. The file exchange was pretty rapid by then. You could send something like, you send it or we send it or something like that. And like you just would wait for that. The download would be like overnight. So you say, oh, okay, Garson's new piano came in. We'll download it now, and when I get back in the morning, it'll be fully downloaded. But hey, this is wonderful, it saved money, time and money, and it was great. David wrote a great melody for it, for Bring Me the Disco King, and he knows his range, and he knows he's got certain notes that he wants to hit the climax of the note. He's got two notes. I won't say what they are. They might be a G and an F. But if he wants to end a phrase on a big out, he'll hit those notes and he'll write them into his melodies. He knows his voice better than anybody, and he wrote amazing melodies, and Disco King is absolutely one of them. I think he just wanted to economize again. We went big on Heathen, and now he's closing down, and it's going to be a tight rock and roll unit. He's done that in the past, and for him, it was good. It was an album he could tour with. He could tour with those songs. David's whole thing is about change. Anyway, he'd never wanted to repeat himself.